So we talked about C1 below, and that's really where the yo comes in. Okay, C1 is terribly calcified and atrophied in most people. I know that as a therapist. In some people, it's an extreme lockdown. And we need to decalcify it, and we can do that quite easily with this exercise. Now, this exercise I'm going to show you, you can do this exercise in so many different ways. Standing, sitting, lying down, and upside down. And it's one of my favourite exercises. It's a thing that my body just always comes back to. That's why it's what I call a set move. Okay, like I said, what I'm learning is that our bodies just kind of want to move in the same way. You know, there's only so much we can do, and we've all got the same anatomy. Where we're all different is in where and how we're holding and carrying stress, and then we really are different and yet the same. And you know, and obviously people are born with different attributes in their bodies and some disabilities and things like that. So those are limitations when it comes to something like yoga. And I myself was actually born with a disability. So that is really where, and I'll talk about more about that another time, but that is probably really where I have come to develop this, is because yoga was always a stretch for me. You know, it was always a strain, actually. And even though I would come out feeling fantastic, and this isn't a diss on yoga. And, you know, again, it's all part of the training. It's all part of the teaching. It's all part of the learning. And it's all part of your experience teaching you. You're the guru. We start to lock down, we start to shut down, and in particular in the spine. It may be that we start at C1, but it's certainly a predominant transverse diaphragm. We need to unlock it. It may well be the key to experiencing other and higher states of consciousness. And we can do this very simply. Okay. A lot of tribal people work in lots of different ways with similar exercises. They really have an open occiput, and they work with processes like letting go of the head and throwing it around. Incredible, incredible. And we all have the propensity to do this, okay? So we can start this exercise. I'm going to show you it standing, and you can try it standing, and it's really the easiest way to do is doing it standing. However, in this first phase, the best way to do it is lying down. Like I said, spending a lot of time lying down in this first phase is your best friend, okay? You're going to get the most out of this program the more you can drop. The beauty of hypnotherapy is that it is more than just relaxation or meditation. What I love about being guided is that the process is that the focus is to totally let go. You're not trying to do something. You're just allowing somebody else to guide you and lull you into a deep state of relaxation. And that in and of itself can require a certain level of trust. Now, we've mentioned in the written piece that C1, the occiput, is also known as the trust centre. And we very much know that because as babies, it's completely open. And we're in such a trusting state of open softness that we would allow someone to kill us because we just don't know. We don't have even that level of awareness of being something separate. And that comes from total surrender, which is what trust is. So, we have to hold a baby's head. We have to make sure that we don't drop it, because otherwise it will go back and potentially we have a problem. So maybe as a result of all of that somehow, and parents' fears around the process, we are in a state of stress and strain around the occiput. It happens to as well house the hindbrain, the reptilian brain, okay, which is the seat of fight or flight, and we talk about that as well. I don't want to go into too much of the philosophy in the video, so we can make the videos really, really short, and you can just keep coming back to the writing, because I can make it much more concise in the written down. I can say it in a much clearer, concise way. So this exercise, we're going to start a little bit like a Tai Chi or Qigong exercise of just weight transference. Okay, so it's the transference of the weight from the left leg to the right leg. Okay, we just want to transfer all the weight. I use my hands, and imagine that you're pouring a bag of sand or water up and down the left and the right. You can even lift the knee of the side that you are not putting the weight down. Okay. But what we want to do is we want to open up C1. So we want to let go of the head at the same time. We're letting it go. Just letting the head drop. Now you don't have to use the hands. We want the ear to the shoulder. Ear to shoulder. Ear to shoulder. And there are many, many variations that I'm still learning of this exercise. But that is just the very simple starting position. You will begin to hear cracks and clicks, okay? Now, if your head is like this, so you could do it in the mirror. If your head is like this, then you're not letting go. It needs to drop. There will be a drop. Then you'll start to hear it click. You can look down to the floor, and that's quite a good way of starting to open up that occiput a bit more. Coming back to standing. And I also want to show you this exercise lying down. Okay, so I really want to show you the yoing lying down. And as we were pouring the sand and water through the legs the last time, this time the focus of the movement is in the hips. So you're hitching the hips up, and as you begin to open up C1, you will see that
as an involuntary movement, the head is rocking from side to side. Now, this time it is different. This time it's nose to shoulder. Standing or sitting, it's more ear to shoulder. If you're finding that there's absolutely no movement in the neck at all, in the head's just not rocking, so you might be kind of only ever so slightly able to hitch the hips, you can really start to bring the knee up. Just get the leg to move more than it's really meant to. But this is for men in particular who can be extremely locked in the sacrum. And then just eventually you really will open the neck and get a lot of movement happening in C1. Now, as I've said, the benefit of doing it lying down is that you can support the neck. A lot of people, if they have a very strong kyphosis in C1, are going to be experiencing potentially some level of pain. So I encourage you instead to start by lying down. Just very simple movement, hitching the hips. That's it. That's it. The head is supported. The neck can just open and soften.